I'm ready for that 50 Shades of Vampires film for sure myself, so I'm not going to judge anyone.
I'm a sadomasochist when it comes to it.
When's the last time you even threw on some hockey skates?
They're still looking at me like I'm absolutely out of my fucking mind.
Michael, don't look it up. It'll culture shock the fuck out of you. I promise that. No,
The
it's
mustache was a big one for people. I know that.
man, it's always the same ones, which no shade to anyone.
And the music business is absolutely bananas.
To me, it sounds like you did it for you, and that's the most important part of it all.
I'm keeping it dark. I'm keeping it very me, but I'm also kind of experimenting. What is me now?
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you good, yes.
Amazing. How's it going, Michael?
It's going great. How's it going with you?
Pretty good. Where's that coffee from? What are you drinking?
Oh, this is from Pete's.
Dude, very
Yeah.
nice.
Yes, cold brew. I needed it. Second one of the day.
Second one, don't be shitting your brains for the rest of the day.
You are on point, yes.
Very nice. How's your
Yeah.
day been so far?
It's been okay. It's a little hectic, actually. I'm actually leaving for Hawaii for a friend's birthday in about a week. So we're trying to get everything done.
Very nice. And you just wrapped up a tour, right?
Yeah, it felt like almost 30 days on the road in the East Coast. Yeah.
Dude, that's so crazy. But now you're finally able to kind of wind down a little bit, right? That's not too
Yeah,
bad.
not too bad. When you go back to Vegas, though, it's like everyone has something to do. You know what I mean? And you're like, I guess I'll go out. So we've been kind of winding down a little bit, but with a lot of stuff. I did an emo night right upon arrival, so not much downtime yet.
All right, not yet, but hopefully soon. But
Yeah,
dude, I actually used to live in Summerlin for a few years. Yeah.
you would have been my neighbor. I'm in Summerlin.
Very cool. Yeah, Tivoli Village is where I used to be at all the time.
Yeah, I go there all the time. El Solito and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Dude, very cool. I miss it for sure. And I always tell everyone I miss the dry heat. I miss the dry winters because it's so cold and I love the cold. But people usually are like, it doesn't get cold in Vegas. I'm like, you don't know desert cold. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that was something I definitely found out living here. I've been here 5 years now and I'm still in disbelief. But you know what? We had some cold winters right now. It is 70 degrees in December. And I'm so thankful for that right now.
Dude, can't complain. There's obviously no such thing as time off, but what's happening between now and the next time you're out on the road?
Okay, so I'm in the middle of recording a new EP. I've been doing it very slow. It's very unlike me. It's affecting everything around me, now putting out new music and videos. But I'm taking my time on this one, and I'm kind of putting it together right now with Paul from Asking Alexandria, bit by bit, song by song. I'm looking for 5 or 6 songs. I'm on number, I think, 4 now, or something like that. And I'm excited for that. We don't head out on the road until 2026, around April time.
Okay, so around April, very cool. Is there a place that you haven't performed in that you'd like to consider for this next leg of tour?
I have not been to Portland in a long time. I have not been to Seattle in a long time, usually because they're like the ugly step brother and sisters that you need to travel all the way up to do. But as far as I know now, I think they're on this routing. So I'm excited for both of those. Different.
Dude, very cool. Is there a place during this previous leg that surprised you the most?
Yes. I want to say Baltimore. I don't think I played Baltimore since early Vampires. It was very surprising. The turnout, the same with South Carolina at Ground Zero. We do play there a lot, but the band that we took on tour doesn't have a lot of tour history. So a lot relied on Vampires to, obviously bring in the people. And they showed up for both those shows. And there was just the tail end of the tour. So it was very satisfying.
Did you feel like that kind of gave you that second wind in part of the tour because of the surprise of like, holy shit, people are showing up?
Yes. I think that was very surprising, and it definitely made me feel good ending it. There's a lot of roller coaster rides going right now for all the bands that are on tour, with people committing to more of the festival circuit than they are to venues. So it was like this, and then it kind of leveled out to an amazingness. So very satisfying, very satisfying.
Dude, it sounds like it's super satisfying. And to me personally, like it's exciting to see this revival of enthusiasm going back into, seeing live performances, especially for bands like yours that are actually live performers. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
It's a very nice feeling. And I do see there's like an upward trajectory going for, people trying to get out there and see some live music. And I'm hoping in like 2026, it it's a big point because I have a lot going on then, and I need it to work. So yeah,
It's big plans, right?
it's big plans.
It will. They're definitely going to work out. I can feel the energy from it. I've been keeping up with what you've been doing. And first of all, this has been kind of like a long time coming. I've been looking forward to chatting with you for a hot minute. So thank you so much for making the time.
Well, I appreciate you making the time for me. I mean, your energy is amazing right now, and I appreciate that. I needed that for today.
Dude,
So yeah.
I needed it too. So it looks like we both needed it. We're in a good spot for it. And something I wanted to talk to you about real quick is you've been doing this for a really long time and you've openly talked about your image causing reactions throughout this entire journey. Was there ever a point earlier in the phases of starting this entire music career where you thought about toning it down to not be so reactive when it came to the image, if that makes any sense?
No, it makes perfect sense, and that is called Dead Girls Academy. That is the band I did with Ronnie for Falling Reverse back then, and we signed a Victory and all that fun stuff. And that was kind of like the more get up and go version of me, not as Motley Crue and Manson and Nine Inch Nails. It was more of like, going back to a kind of a Warped Tour 2012 or 2009 type of look. And I liked it. I liked it. I think, I kind of created a hybrid going forward into 2026 between that and what I was doing. So it kind of fits where I am right now mentally, because it was a challenge, first coming out with that name Vampires Everywhere and everyone misreading that and what I was trying to do with that. And then, looking like we did traveling the country, and a lot of the bands at that time were just like not having it, there was all about flannels and cut up blue jeans, and we're showing up, basically in full drag.
Yeah.
And, and they're just like, oh man, yeah, it's been a lot of trials and tribulations trying to figure everything out. Kind of
No,
bananas.
for sure. Well, and I feel like you said it so perfectly. It almost like benefited you in the long run because without exploring softer sides, edgier sides, you really don't know what's going to work out for you. I think a lot of people like to figure out their image in order to see what it's going to work for the audience.
Right.
But to me, it sounds like you did it for you, and that's the most important part of it all.
No, I absolutely did it for me. I mean, I'm sure the majority would like to see, us looking a certain way and me having the swoop back and, and all that good stuff. And, and a lot of people want to see the other way, but I think more as I mature in the industry, I'm kind of just doing what feels right to me. I'm keeping it dark. I'm keeping it very me, but I'm also kind of experimenting. What is me now? Hopefully it's perceived okay.
No,
The
it's
mustache was a big one for people. I know that. So.
Dude, but you know what's so funny though? I feel like in a lot of ways, going even back to some of your photos from like 10 years ago and looking at older interviews too, I feel like you've been so ahead of your time because now this is what people find fucking hot. They want the mustache, they want the tattoos. And so I feel like in a way, you've been manifesting all this to really trend upward. And I think that speaks so much fucking volumes to just authentically being yourself because you never know when eventually people do start to notice for all the right reasons. And I feel like you've been able to grasp your audience for all the right reasons for sure.
I really appreciate that. And, it's funny because I started getting tattoos at 18. I did it because, back in the day, I used to surf, used to skate a little bit. And I was heavily into the punk scene, like Pennywise and Rancid and all that, new school punk stuff. And this is just kind of what it was, in South Florida where I was growing up most of my life. And it's so funny how everything kind of just morphed into being acceptable, even in places though, if I go visit my mom in Boca Raton over there, they're still looking at me like I'm absolutely out of my fucking mind.
For sure.
But for sure, like I just escaped prison and I'm going to rob you. But as far as like the culture goes, I feel like we're on an upward, like I said, we're going up with people actually kind of figuring out that this is more of art than it is to be a nuisance or violence or whatever they're thinking, you know?
Dude, 100%. When it comes to mixing business and pleasure, though many connect with the authentic music, the lyrics, and the image, has it ever been difficult to connect with someone because they're more infatuated with the image, if that makes any sense?
As far as people coming for the image, we do get a lot of that. And there are a lot of bands out there right now that are basically getting their fan base based upon image. And most people can't even name a song or a hook or even an album. Album name's actually a harder thing to name nowadays. We kind of have a little bit of both. We were lucky to have that underground following, beginning with, the first EP and then going into the LP, which was highly chastised. I don't know if I have it here, but this guy here, I have it on my desk nonetheless. Lost in the Shadows here was the first thing we put out with Hot Topic, and that was critically destroyed, to the point where Century Media didn't even know what to do with themselves. But we were way ahead with what we were doing, combining the image with a metalcore thing and kind of putting some, EDM stuff in there a little bit, and people were just like, I don't know what the hell is going on. And I think that the people that did get it immediately became our underground fan base, and then watched us evolve with our image, and that's kind of where it went. Just luckily for us that we started early, we were early to the game, and we didn't have to rely on image totally. So people do connect with my lyrics, especially back then where I was being metaphorical as hell, and now I'm trying to be a little bit more upfront.
Dude, exactly. Well, I wasn't even sure.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I was also just so curious. Like, in my opinion, you really own the name, you own your style, you own your tattoos because it's just who you are. And it really sparked the curiosity of like, I wonder if like you ever come across people that have vampire fetishes and they're like, they don't even care about music, nothing. And they're just like intrigued because of that. Not to kink shame anyone, but I was just like curious about that, you know?
Oh, that is quite a thing. It still exists in my world right now, but back then, I used to get vials of blood in the mail, which I'm not quite sure how they even allowed that to happen. So I got that. I remember opening up and smelling it and having other people smell. They're like, "Oh, that's definitely blood."
Dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah, people want to be turned into vampires for real. The big thing back then for pictures was me biting them on the neck for the picture. Yeah, there is a lot of the vampire Lestat kind of ideology going on for people, and I embraced it because I love it. I'm an absolute maniac. That kind of stuff amuses me. I'm a sadomasochist when it comes to it.
I literally had it in my notes. I'm ready for that 50 Shades of Vampires film for sure myself, so I'm not going to judge anyone. But
I feel it.
dude, speaking of films real quick, have you ever considered getting in front of a camera or even producing behind?
Yes. So most of the music videos that were ever done for the band, I was co-directing. I never jumped in and put my name on the credits, mainly because a lot of my close friends that were videoing, and I wanted to give them full director credit. But no, every video was meticulously directed by me, and I try to place it as much as possible. Hey, little sister shotgun, it's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. To be fair, most of the videos that I've ever made never actually had 100% my vision. They try to get as close as humanly possible. Obviously, CGI is a big thing now. With a lot of bands, it's absolutely mind blowing to see some of that. And I'd like to see where I'm going to do with that going forward. But yeah, I always wanted to do movie stuff and I always wanted to direct. But I'm just getting to the point where I just want to get this band back on the platform where I feel like I'm comfortable with it. And I'm like, okay, we're this is where we're at and this is where I'm feeling good and the music's great. And then I can kind of branch out to explore more opportunities like that.
Dude, for sure. Well, not to add on to the list of the things that you have on your plate, but this is definitely something that intrigues me about doing episodes with artists, specifically artists like you that have been doing this for a long time, because I do like to spark different types of creative topics because I want my guests to feel like there is more to them than just the artist and the music. And so I want to tap into a little bit of of that creativity with you real quick. And in honor of the times that you and your childhood friend Robbie, hopefully I didn't fuck up that name, would rent movies, I'm going to give you a movie genre, and I want you to quickly tell me the first movie that comes to mind that you'd give a darker vampire twist to it. Are you ready?
I'll give it a go. I usually brain fart, but I'll try. I'll try.
This is Unshut, Michael. We don't ask the same questions you've been asked for the past 10 years, okay?
I got you. I got you.
The first genre I have is comedy.
Oh, comedy. I would say Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Dude,
I would
very
love
nice.
to see Aldous Snow as a vampire. I'm first off, I'm obsessed with Get Him to the Greek and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So I would love to see that in a darker tonality. That would be
Dude,
hilarious for
you're
me.
already off to a good fucking start. I am so excited. The next one I have for you is a Disney classic.
Oh wow, a Disney classic. What would be crazy? I think Disney classic wise, The Little Mermaid for me. I think I tried out to be the chef when I was in elementary school, and I couldn't imagine having a darker twist
Dude,
with that. It's already kind of terrifying. So yeah.
dude, mermaids were my fucking life growing up. Have you seen how people did like a tatted version of Eric?
I think I did see that. Yeah. I think I did see that. That was really cool,
So
actually.
I'm not gonna lie, the reason I put a Disney classic on here is because when I saw some of your photos, I'm like, he could play a modern day tatted up Eric version. So looks like your chef days are over. You're gonna be Eric from now on.
Numbered. Well, I appreciate that. I'm moving up. So
Very
there it is.
cool. Absolutely. The next one I have for you is a romance film.
One of my favorite romance films ever is definitely Love Actually. I don't know why I love that so much, but I love it. And then the aging rock star, and he plays the aging rock star. He plays Victor in Underworld and all that. I don't know if it would be a different twist, but it would be really cool if that was more based in the vampire culture. That would be really cool.
I can't be the only one sitting here thinking how I feel like you would be fucking killer as a producer, dude. Like, this is fucking good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I would love to get involved in that. It's just, oh man, right now, crazy.
Eventually, we'll manifest it for a future project, you
Please.
know?
Yes.
The next one I have for you, which is the last one on my list, is a biopic. If you could pick a biopic of an artist, but give it a darker vampire twist to it, who would it be?
Oh, I'm obsessed with Jim Morrison, so it'd have to be The Doors.
Dude, so
Yeah.
fucking good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that movie's fantastic. Val Kilmer in that movie is just mind blowing. So I mean, I couldn't imagine if he's already on enough crazy shit. So I couldn't imagine if he's also dealing with vampirism. So that would be interesting. Yeah.
100%. Well, you definitely passed the vibe check because you're speaking my language with all these titles. Like, fucking
Amazing.
genius. I feel like it's always the same movie titles when people talk to you in interviews. And so, my goal today was to really switch it up with you. And especially when it came to vampires, has anyone ever talked to you about that old school Jim Carrey, Once Bitten?
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's
Dude,
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
it's one of my
Yeah.
favorites, and the first thing that crossed my mind when I'm going back to older interviews, doing some research, I was like, man, it's always the same ones, which no shade to anyone, but I really
Yeah.
thought, like, you know what, he's been doing this too long. We can't sit here and talk about the same shit he's been talking about for the last 10 years, you know?
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And it's funny because all those, I think, 80s goofy vampire movies were my jam on VHS and watching that. And, I'm just obsessed. Yeah.
Same. My siblings are going to get a kick out of that one because that was our favorite growing up. We would just watch it on VHS over and over again. So that's a
Yeah.
classic for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that one.
In talking about the past real quick, I heard that you played hockey. Is that true?
That is true.
When's the last time you even threw on some hockey skates?
Oh, well, a very, very long time ago. I think someone dragged me on the ice for some Christmas thing, and I skated around a little bit. And, I threw on some rollerblades not too long ago as well, a couple of years ago. But yeah, I haven't picked up a stick and with skates in a very long time. It was a love affair I had with the sport. And, I was living with different families in Quebec, and I lived in Minnesota to play it. And I gave my life up at that point for it. So when I had stopped doing it, I had to take a step back from the whole process to find myself again.
I was very fascinated to hear about you being a hockey player. I literally started laughing because I'm like, I don't know shit about hockey other than this new show that's out right now called Heated Rivalry. Michael, don't look it up. It's basically gay soft porn. There's nothing hockey about it, okay? But I started watching it because I was like, dude, I'm fucking masculine. I can sit down and watch a show about hockey. And listen, I'm gay, but I was mind blown at how gay this show was, okay? So it caught me off guard. So
And what's funny is I've been making that point that people are trying to push that very, very, very hard to certain levels. And, I'm there for it. I love everything. I just, when things become too agendified, it kind of brings the fun out of it. And Euphoria, just got into Euphoria that fantastically.
Dude,
They
such a
kept
good
that real,
show.
and all
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. And I agree with that too. It's like the over pushing of it. It's like we don't need to be making statements like that. Like it really did take away because for me, I was like, oh, a hockey show about two gay dudes. Like this is going to be interesting. The first fucking episode, I was like appalled at my own people. Okay. But it's whatever. To each their own, right? We're not judging.
You're making this curious for me, and I might have to check this out. So, yeah, I'll
Dude,
check this
it'll
out.
culture shock the fuck out of you. I promise that.
Okay, good. I like that.
Well, I know we're kind of shooting the shit a little bit, but I do want to talk about something a little bit serious with you real quick. And you've openly shared about a near-death accident that happened with you where you got hit by a car. I was actually today years old when I read about this because it's something I skipped over with all my research. First of all, do you feel like that incident alone gave you like that second spark of wanting to push for everything you ever wanted in life because of that experience?
I think initially the recovery process in the hospital and spending an exuberant amount of time in my mom's guest bedroom kind of made me weary of everything. I was very crazy. I've been playing music a long time, and I would do a lot of crazy shit. Put myself in crazy situations and not really care. I think this brought the whole idea of, oh, you know, I can be taken out of commission, and I better choose my path better and figure out something else because this is too dangerous or whatever. When I ended up figuring out from psychiatrists and stuff, because I had to go to a lot of doctors, I was having post-traumatic stress. They said eventually, I didn't believe them, but they said eventually this is going to end, and when this ends, it's going to be like you went and you're going to wake up to where you used to be, and then you're going to have to figure out what to do. So they're giving me advice not to get too involved with something I'm not really excited about. And like clockwork, I got that snap, and that's when I decided to go all in with music again. But initially, no. Initially, I was going to either finish going to law school, or at the time I was like become a doctor. I was on a lot of morphine, mind you, in the hospital. So I was saying all sorts of crazy stuff. But initially, no, and then later on, yes. Once I came to myself.
Do you remember the specific place and time that you were in when that snap happened? Like, do you remember
Yes.
your surround? Like, where were you when that happened? When it all of a sudden hit you, like, snap, we're back to this.
Yes, it was. I had bought a high rise in Fort Lauderdale by the beach, close to the beach in Las Olas, and it was from the money that I got from was being taken out of commission. So I got that, and I was trying to settle into my life, and I didn't know what was going on. I was a mess, and then I think I was having some drinks upstairs by the pool. I was listening. A song came on. And I don't remember exactly the song, but it was an old school rock and roll song. And out of my mind, I kind of had a lucid dream while I was awake, and I was like, "What am I doing? What am I doing right now?" And then I became terrified because I'm trying to settle my life and do all this stuff, but I'm like, "Nah, I need to figure this out right now." And I jumped right back in. That was the moment. I don't even know the exact date of it, but it was around 20 years ago now. So
So
crazy.
crazy. Michael, if someone came to you and said, hey, we want to turn this experience that you said the word lucid, right? Like this whole experience, turn it into a film, right? Like the person is going through what you went through, and it all starts at this bar where that snap happens. And what comes after that, that's what we're going to turn it. Would you feel like someone's exploiting you, or would you feel like that would actually be a really good story to tell?
I think it'd be a fantastic story to tell. I'd like a better ending at this point. I want to keep, progressing forward. And I think that was one of the things, I was going to write a book. To be fair, I've been holding off on it because I don't have my ending that I like yet. I have plenty of context. I just don't have an ending that I would be proud of. It would just be like ... see you on the road. I'd rather it be something a little bit more grander than that situation. But yeah, I've thought of that, and it's definitely something that I will eventually get into.
Dude, for sure. Well, I personally, and I can't speak for all of your fans, right? But I can tell you that for me personally, I appreciate that because I always talk on the show about how it makes me so happy to hear when certain artists talk about how they're not just putting something out for the sake of putting something out. And so I appreciate that because that really does mean that you're taking care of the art and you're not just saying, well, I can write a book and put that shit out tomorrow and that'll be it. There's so much more that goes into this creative mind that's constantly running 24/7. And I appreciate that. So for sure, don't rush it. Don't leave those dots there. You'll get to that ending
Yeah,
whenever you get to it, you know?
I appreciate that. And yeah, that comes with age too with me and kind of maturing and not being so impulsive is that I'm actually thinking before I'm speaking, which is a crazy thing because I used to word vomit consistently. Now I'm kind of like taking my time. I'm writing the music slower. I'm kind of really digging down onto what I want to put out rather than like I need to put it out in my Spotify and now I'm just like I just don't really give a shit what that all of that is corporate hippity hoopla. Where it comes down to is the music and actually, having my audience feel what I'm saying. And that's super important to me. Very
Dude,
important.
100%. Well, talking about maturing and getting older, you've openly talked about how your drummer is younger and he was helping
Yeah.
you out, like keeping up with social media and stuff. How are you holding up on your own today? Or are you still looking for him for some of these approvals when it comes to social media now?
Well, Jesse, I think that he's a TikTok guy. He's the guy who has the phone that's there right up to his face, and he's doom scrolling all of tour. I don't think that phone is ever disconnected from his face until he starts drumming. So he's really on the he is really on the pulse when it comes to that. TikTok, I'm going to get a little bit more involved in it in 2026. I already have a little band account, but he mostly runs that. I add things here and there. I didn't have like the attention span for TikTok, to be fair. It's just too for me, and I have more of an enjoyment on Instagram than I do anywhere else. Facebook, I'm hardly on it unless I'm promoting shows, and Twitter, I just feel obligated sometimes just to post something on there. Be better to post softcore porn because it would get more attention. But I'm usually just taking what I put on Instagram onto Twitter.
Dude, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. You know how that goes. And, there's always something new that'll pop up. We're on YouTube, but as far as YouTube goes, it's mostly music videos. I'm going to be a little bit more proactive in 2026 now that we're going to have new music and, tours and stuff like that, where I can really dig down and do things that people might be interested a little bit more into my life because I try to keep my life as private as humanly possible.
Dude, for
But
sure.
people don't like that. People don't like that. They want to know when I'm washing my hands and going to bed. So that's it.
Exactly. They want more. And now it's all about also like, can you perform half naked? Like, especially for dudes now. I feel like before, it's funny. I was just talking about this the other day. I feel like in like the early 2000s, the expectation of girl performers was for them to be half naked. In my opinion, now in fucking 2025, it's all about the dudes getting naked on stage. It's what people want. So it's so crazy.
Oh, it's pretty fantastic. I mean, that goes back to the 80s glam metal bands. I don't how many people were wearing no shirts back then, and and
Exactly.
everyone looked so amazing. And yeah, I love that. And I mean, obviously, a lot of people helping with that, Young Blood and all the stuff that he's been doing. I have no hate on any band or anyone doing great. I love the fact that they're keeping rock and roll alive, and I appreciate them bringing that image to the commercial forefront. It helps us a lot, in the rock world for sure.
Well, it's easy for you to say, Michael, because you're not fucking ugly. So, of course, you'd be on the
Oh,
bandwagon for it.
and you know what? I do appreciate that. And even after that car crash, I don't look in the mirror and see the same person anymore as I used to. So it's equally as hard for me to deal with issues as well. Trust.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. No, for sure. And I appreciate that because that's that level of honesty that people are attracted to. And again, that's what makes the attraction beyond the music. So I appreciate that for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that as well.
Of course. I something I wanted to talk about with you real quick is in regards to how long you've been doing this. Press is so different from what it was 10 years ago to now. Here we are on a podcast show. Do you think radio will ever make its way back? Because in this interview that I saw, you talked about how things always make their way back around. Do you think radio will ever have a comeback?
Wow. I don't foresee it. Would I like that to happen? Absolutely. I think that, rock and roll needs more outlets of media to reach people. And that was a big one, back in the day. I think that right now, what do we have is liquid metal and serious octane, kind of running the show. A lot more bands want to be on that than they actually want to be on the radio stations in their city. It's kind of upside down right now. And I think that if we're to come back, I think these disc jockeys and DJs and stuff are going to have to embrace more of the underground stuff like they were doing back in the day and kind of have more of a local hour and more of a upcoming band hour and not be paid an exuberant amount of money from these major record labels to play the stuff, which now we consider as marketing.
For
So
sure. For sure.
yeah, Paola's been going on for quite some time. And, it was kind of funny is a perfect example on another genre that is kind of getting a lot of attention right now. Country was when Elon Musk discovered how much Jay-Z had paid for Beyonce's country record. And that going viral was like millions of dollars of different things he put into it in order to even make someone that is as giant as her, have a number one record. So as long as that continues in that direction, radio's going to have a tough time breaking new artists. And that's what people want. They want to hear newer stuff with the older stuff.
Dude, couldn't have said it better. And just out of shits and giggles, just out of curiosity, real quick, what would you prefer? Doing a full-blown press tour in person, or would Michael want to stick to podcast appearances online?
I think I would love to do it. I'm a travel person, so I would probably love to travel everywhere and meet everyone in person. I think that's kind of our band's motto. We've been more of a physical band than we have been a digital band since day one, and it pisses off record labels that is a lot of the case for us. But we are more physical, and people do want to shake my hand or ask me direct questions or do that, and I think that would be a lot of fun to do. And I never really got the opportunity to do that when we finally started getting traction. And I think about 2011 and a half, iTunes chart was more prolific than the actual physical sales. So I just missed that window, and at least in Vampires, for that to actually happen. But, I'll be fair. I watch Joe Rogan. I watch a lot of different podcasts. I love YouTube. I love the most fun things for me is like, let's say I could just jump into your studio right now and me and you can just shoot it exactly like this and, have a drink or two or have a coffee or two and kind of correlate. I think that is also very important as well.
Exactly. I love that. Same for me for
Yeah.
sure. Something I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about before we start to close things out and, give us everything that you want to lastly talk about before we wrap it up. We couldn't have you on without talking about Boofed Up real quick. How has running yourself like a business all these years helped going into a venture like this?
See, this is the most fantastic situation. My best friend out here, Daniel, is the one that involved me with Boofed Up. And the beauty of it was that I get to invest and I also get to help and have creative input for the company. But I'm not the figurehead. I'm not the person that is, standing there like Superman and pushing it as, like he is. It is his baby. And I'm just happy to be a part of the company and that he allowed me to have a bit of creative control and to be able to, start another branch or tree in my journey in this life. And I couldn't sleep without smoking weed because my brain does not shut off. So it is that drug that actually helps me. So I'm highly invested in the cannabis itself, and we have the best weed, and so it is fantastical to be a part of it in a whole. But to answer your question, marketing, branding, as far as merchandising, all of that stuff I have expertise in just because I've been doing it for so long. But I let him have, his creative vision, and I'll just chime in if it's something that I have a good idea on, as well as advertising the line online.
Dude, for sure. Has there been anything in regards to that venture that has expanded your mind, that has improved you as an artist, venturing out into, like you said, investing into this is something that has nothing to do with music, right? Has that expanded what you've become as an artist because of it?
I definitely think so. It's gave me some much needed, like what you like a switch in my brain where it's music, music, music. I was able to do cannabis, and that for me was like, oh, okay. Well, I can relax a little bit with this. I have a fresh vision on this. And I think it helped with me with the music. It calmed me down a lot. It gives me some other kind of outlet to kind of be creative in, where I'm not always just obsessing about the creation and the music business. And the music business is absolutely bananas. Most people don't know the half of how crazy it is and how clicky it is. So cannabis is a great outlet for me, for sure.
Dude, and you can't get shit done without good sleep, right?
Exactly. For
Amazing.
sure.
Well, thank you so much for giving me your time today, Michael. Lastly, please tell everyone anything that you would like to close out with. What can we expect in the next year? I know we're getting ready to go into the holidays, kick off 2026, but what can they expect? And also where to find you for streaming platforms, all of those good details.
Well, you can put vampires everywhere into Google and you will find us. Just add the explanation point. Very important. Other than that, I would say that, be prepared for new music, new tours. We're looking to go overseas. We have a lot of fun stuff planned, and be looking to see my face a lot more on social media, because I'm going to be getting a little bit more personal, which I'm excited to be doing. As well as, if you're in Las Vegas, look for Boofed Up. Right now we're at Hardin. And to all my fans out there, thank you for the support. I mean, without you, I would not be here and doing this. This is my life and this is what I love to do. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so.
No, thank you so much for giving me the most valuable thing that we have, and that's your time. So thank you so much, and we'll definitely be in touch, all right?
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty, take care, Michael.
Bye-bye.
Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.